Hi, my name's Kelly. I am a CBT therapist and forensic psychologist, and today we're going to be talking about Maslow's theory of the hierarchy of needs. So, this theory was developed in 1943 and 1954, and it is you'll probably be used to seeing a pyramid, but it's the idea that human needs are arranged in a form of some sort of hierarchy. So, you have two needs at the bottom are more the physiological, so those survival or those basic needs. You have the next two that are more psychological needs. And then the more creative and intellectually orientated, those self-actualization needs are at the top. So it was argued by Maslow that the kind of those survival needs at the bottom need to be met before an individual can then motivate themselves to move up to the higher needs. And the higher up that you go in the hierarchy, the more difficult it can be to satisfy the needs that are associated with that stage. And this could be because a range of barriers that an individual may face, whether it's interpersonal, environmental, financial. And sometimes because we've met those needs and we want to move up to the next level of the hierarchy, we're going to become frustrated because we can almost see where we want to go and what needs we want to meet, but we can't quite get there. And then when we're looking at the kind of the needs, they become more increasingly psychological and more long term the higher up we go. And the ones at the bottom are more physiological, so they're more short term, kind of at the bottom of those of the pyramid. And because of this, that sometimes when things happen in our life, when things can drastically change, that sometimes the ones at the bottom are no longer met. So it can be really difficult to actually motivate us to think about the ones higher up because we can't meet the ones at the bottom. So therefore they become more important and we kind of go back down on the hierarchy. So why I say this is because things can change throughout our life. So even though we are moving through and kind of meeting these other needs, sometimes things happen in our life where we have to reevaluate or we have to really change where we're at in our life in order for us to better meet the needs in that moment. So without further ado, here is the part of the pyramid one that you've probably been quite used to seeing. So at the bottom, as I said, that the bottom two are the more basic needs, and then you've got the next two up are the more psychological needs, and the top one is the more the self-actualization. That's the more intellectual, the more creative one. So we all have these needs within us, arguably, according to the theory. So when we're thinking about our physiological needs, that is the need to have air, to have water, to have food, to have shelter, to be able to sleep and to get that sleep that we need. And that's the same with food and water. For us to be able to have the food and water and even air that is required to allow us to function as a human. And also the need for clothes, or the need for things to kind of protect our outer layer, so to speak. And then the need for reproduction. So again, as you can see, some of these you may be thinking, oh, guys, is that for everyone? But the theory is looked at and it is developed, but these needs are still recognised quite widely as the needs that we need to meet for our basic needs to make us feel fulfilled at that level. Once we've been able to meet those physiological needs, which may seem quite basic for some, but they're vital and they're things that we don't always get. But as I said, that once we're able to meet those needs, we can then look at the safety element. So we can think about how we can keep ourself safe. And we can think about employment, obviously including that can include just ways to have an income, so finances. And then having the resources that we need to keep us safe psychologically, emotionally, financially, all of the above to be able to function. And then being able to look after our health, so being able to feel physically and mentally well. And then property, so what that means is kind of having that stable base. And as you can see, and again, the safety needs that we can think, oh yeah, well, I think I can meet them, but it's not for everyone. Not everyone is able to meet those safety needs. And when we're trying to work with someone, or maybe we're reflecting upon ourselves, and we think, oh, I really want to kind of build that sense of connection with other people, but you don't have a stable base, you don't have somewhere that you can rest your head at night. And because of that, that sense of connection sometimes gets lost because we're so focused on meeting that need of shelter, we can't possibly think about making that connection if we haven't met that as well. So then we move on to love and belonging. So this is about our connection to other people. And more and more and more, this connection, when this was developed, obviously it was about physical connection, and we know that physical connection is so important, but sometimes that connection can come through virtual means or online. But it's having other people for support, for love, for care, and being able to interact with other people in some way, shape or form. But again, we can't focus on trying to meet that need if our other needs haven't been met. Then once we've been able to meet that need, we can think about the next level, which is esteem. So this is about respect, so feeling respected by others, respecting ourselves, being able to build our own self-esteem and feeling recognised, being free or feeling free, and having that inner strength. Doesn't mean physical strength, although it might do, but it's about having that inner strength, that inner resilience, and being able to do what we want to do and to be recognised for it. That even though we may not all feel comfortable receiving compliments or recognition for what we do, there is a real impact upon our mental well-being when we are given that pat on the back, so to speak. And then you've got that more creative one right at the top, the self-actualization. So this is where your dreams come alive, so to speak, and you desire to be the most that you can become, whatever that may be. I'm not going to list things here, but it can be a whole range of things. And as I said, for some people, you can have that real desire that you know where you want to go in the future, but you haven't met all of the other needs on the hierarchy. So it's really difficult to make plans or seek to achieve that. As I said, if you maybe haven't got any sort of income, or if you haven't got things that make you feel physically safe. And as I said at the beginning, that there can be some things that happen in our life that shatter our hierarchy, that we could lose our home, we could lose our job, we could lose loved ones. It's all about that loss and those needs being taken away from us. And when that does happen, it's really important to be in tune with the needs that are no longer met, and then seeking out ways for us to meet those needs. And of course, we may need support in meeting those needs. But it is something that it is important that we check in with that and we work from the bottom upwards. For some people, you may have to do that a number of times throughout your life. For some people, maybe not so much. But whenever that does happen, don't stress yourself out, put yourself down, because there are other things that are important. And again, when we're working with people, try not to push people through if they haven't got the things that are creating that stable base for them. And you can see this if you're working with people, or even when you're reflecting upon yourself, and thinking about being able to help people. And I'm sure as I've spoken through this, you can think of a range of different examples or situations that could fit into all of these different areas. But there are so many other factors. We need to take in cultural needs and cultural factors, and how that may shift someone's needs slightly, or the place that they are currently living in or residing in. So as I said, as you can imagine, there are factors that can impact upon this, but there are also some examples that I'm hoping that you're thinking of that maybe you could implement into your life or the people that you're working with, thinking where you are on this triangle, thinking where people that you are working with, and maybe thinking of goals or activities that could help you to meet their needs so you can continue to move up the hierarchy. I hope you found that helpful to explain this theory. Please like and subscribe and be sure to check out my channel. Thank you.